Benvenuti alla settima edizione.
Good morning and welcome to the 7th edition of the Sustainable Economy Forum, a forum which over the years has become increasingly important both in Italy and abroad, as we shall see later, with intervention by the European Commissioner and also during the roundtable and the Gianmarco Moratti Award for Africa. My name is Daniele Pelagio. I'm the Vice Director of Il Sole 24 Ore, and it's an honor for me to be here with you. First time I'm here with you in sharing these considerations bearing on the sustainable economy. I'm particularly pleased that Sole 24 Ore is part of this extremely important event, which takes place in an important venue. But moderators have to be good at disappearing, so I will just be supporting you through roundtables where we shall try and narrate visions and experiences connected to sustainable economy. But first and foremost, let me welcome the co-founder of the San Patrignano Foundation, the prime mover behind this Sustainable Economy Forum, Letizia Moratti, whom I would like to invite on stage.
Grazie. Si sente?
Thank you. Hope you can hear me. I would like to extend my greetings to you all and special thanks to the President of Confindustria, my friend Emanuele Orsini, for having confirmed their support for this forum, which has been held here in San Patrignano for a number of years now. It's an opportunity to meet and discuss topics that affect both our companies and our society at large. I would also like to extend my greetings and thanks to Michele de Pascale, President of our region, and all our guests. This forum is a place to meet and discuss. It stems from a cooperation between Confindustria, the Confederation of Italian Industries, and San Patrignano. This cooperation has been going on for a number of years now, proving that it is possible to reconcile words that are apparently different. Where are we today? Well, today we are in a predicament where we are facing major challenges connected to ecological transition, digital transition, innovation, and we are probably at a crossroads. We must succeed in turning these challenges into opportunities. Not an easy feat, but it is a target we have to aim for. Now, my introduction will be extremely short because President Orsini will expand on the various topics. So just a short introduction on the economy, because of course sustainability also bears on the economy. In Italy, our economy means we are the second manufacturing country in Italy, the fourth exporting country in the world. We have exported through wars, crises. We have shown resilience, but the situation is not rosy. European GDP has dropped by 2.2. Unfortunately, we have lost over 2 jobs throughout Europe, so we have to realize we have entered a new era. We have to act differently, change the paradigm, because there are critical factors at play which have an impact on our economy. Energy supply, raw materials supply, the way of red tape, and the difficulty in achieving the skills which are needed for both the green and technology transitions, access to credit, which is not always easy for small and medium enterprises, and on top of this, we should add tariffs and duties. Apart from the ones that have been suspended, we have tariffs on the automotive sector, on important sectors like steel production. So the American policy is facing us with the need to react together as Europe. Europe must react urgently and swiftly. In the past term, a lot was done on the Green Deal, a Green Deal that is very ideological and that has considered environmental sustainability only, neglecting the fact that economic sustainability and social sustainability are just as important. So it is definitely necessary for us to reverse this trend. Why did I say reverse this trend? Because Europe is not growing, as I mentioned before. Europe is not growing, it is losing competitiveness, which creates problems when it comes to employment, loss of jobs, but also that entails problems on our welfare system. Without growth, without employment, our welfare system cannot cope. And then there's demographics, aging of the population, low natality rates, birth rates, and this is creating a problem in terms of health services, pensions. So this whole situation has to be tackled with a different mindset compared to the past. So we need urgent reforms. We need to urgently change the paradigm which was adopted in the previous parliamentary term. I also believe that we need to create new cooperations between institutions, economy, businesses, and the social private sector, which in many contexts may act together with the public sector and give an important contribution. San Patrignano, and that's the connection to this special meeting between Confindustria and San Patrignano. San Patrignano is a case in point because San Patrignano, thanks to its intervention in training and education, is lowering the number of NEET. So it's a place that helps the economy. It helps the social sector also by recovering fragilities, overcoming vulnerabilities, and it also provides health services which support the regional service. And I would also like to thank the president of the region for the support that the region provides to both our education initiatives and San Patrignano at large. So we have to reconcile economic growth and social awareness. That's what the forum is for. It's a laboratory of ideas. At the end of the day, we will draw some conclusions. The panels are extremely interesting. I cannot name all the speakers, but we will tackle different topics. I mentioned steel, but also ceramics, which is particularly important in this sector. We will speak about a blue economy, energy transition, research, innovation, Africa, because personally I am deeply convinced that Europe should launch a massive Marshall Plan for Africa, so do much more than it is currently doing. So a wholehearted thanks to all the speakers, wishing you the very best. Enjoy the day. We will meet again for our conclusions at the end. Thank you, Ms. Moratti. You spoke about Europe quite a bit. Someone who has fought for Europe to make quick decisions is the president of Confindustria, whom I would like to invite on stage. President of Confindustria, which groups 5,900,000 operators, 210 specific organizations, trade organizations, and some 150,000 businesses. So here are the welcoming words by President Orsini. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Letizia. I would like to thank the Moratti family for what it's doing. I would like to thank the people at San Patrignano for what they're doing, because unless I'm mistaken, this is the 7th edition. I hope for many more to come. Yesterday evening, I said that as long as I'll be around, we will be supporting this important event, which has become an important opportunity for Confindustria. Since we are speaking about sustainability, speaking of Europe, etc., I took some notes while Letizia was speaking, and I think we are faced with a high number of challenges, both in Italy and in Europe. Let me greet the president of the region of Emilia Romagna and personal friend Michele de Pascale. Good to see you here. But I think that the most specific peculiarity is in uncertainty. Our entrepreneurs are ready to show vision, but they need predictability in Italy and abroad. So, speaking about sustainability, Italian industries have always cared for the environment. In 2021, speaking about recycling, I mentioned this relatively often, we have achieved what the European Union required us to reach by 2030. So we've always been ahead of time when it came to respect the environment. The EU speaks about 6.7% of emissions, and our value is lower than the average. You mentioned steel and ceramics. We know how much our entrepreneurs have invested in caring for the environment. We know how much has been done over the last decade. Then Letizia spoke of Europe, as did Vice Director of Il Sole 24 Ore. It was said that Europe has to be brave. We believe that some changes have to be made. Some harsh decisions have been made against industry and businesses. This has to be changed because industry and businesses take care of the common good, like we're doing today, where we want to focus on employment, welfare. In 2024, during my first assembly, we spoke about social responsibility, welfare, housing policies, which Michele will mention, because we need to become attractive. The Mattei plan will make this possible. Antonio Gozzi and Marchesini, Lara Ponti, and my friend Mario, with whom we built together our bureau team, we have been working on this. Mention has been made of the demographic challenge, but on top of this all, we need to have a vision. So what we are asking the government is to have a plan, long-term plan for our country, because when that is in place, when there is vision, then our business people can invest. They are ready to invest, but to be able to do so, we have to prove to entrepreneurs and citizens that industry is at the core of our concerns as well. So ETS is a system that's having an impact on the steel sector, on transport, on sea transport. In a country like ours, with almost 8,000 kilometers of coast, we cannot lose our fleet, which is essential for our international exchanges. Of course, Confindustria will do its part, but we need everybody on board to support the needs of industry. We speak about finance. Today we'll speak about sustainable finance that has to be there to support industry. And it takes courage to do that, because this is also a topic for competitiveness for Europe to deal with. And before I conclude, tariffs. In an interconnected world like ours, speaking of tariffs, of closing of markets, is a problem for us. As Letizia mentioned, we are the 4th exporting countries in the world. Everybody recognizes our products as excellencies. 100 million surplus in exports. We will present a platform on the 27th of May in our meeting held in Bologna in the presence of the Prime Minister and the President of the European Commission, where we will highlight our exporting abilities, our ability to reach markets for a further 80 billion. We will prove that is the case, but also for us to be able to do that, we need Europe to act quickly. Given that some markets are closing down, we have to focus on others and to think that the vote on Mercosur might take place in September, October 2025 is inconceivable, because today, if a market is being shut down, we have to open new ones immediately. That's why I'm here, part of the reason why I'm here, because I think that when it comes to welfare, to supporting industries, in particular those which deal with the general good of our country, it is important. For this, I would also like to acknowledge what Letizia and San Patrignano are doing. Thank you very much, Mr. Orsini. Now, some words by Michele de Pascale, President of the region of Emilia Romagna. Emanuele Orsini mentioned the assembly of Confindustria in Bologna. I spoke about this important place where we are today, and Letizia Moratti also mentioned the important role of the region of Emilia-Romagna in support of San Patrignano, but it is also a very important manufacturing industry because of the excellences it expresses and because of the role it plays in the Italian economy. Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure for me to be here. It's the first time I'm in Sampa since I was elected as president of the region. Of course, we all have great expectations in today's discussions. Given the level of speakers, I would like to personally thank Presidents Moratti and Orsini for having organized this very important event in our region, in Emilia-Romagna, at a time when a lot of concerns have been expressed, but also where we would like to share some positive messages of positive energy to react to what is happening around us. Now, using sporting metaphor and going back to what President Orsini said, over the last 10 years at least, we have had European economic athletes participate in the Olympics with ballast weighing them down. So our companies have played the match of international competition with systematic constraints, limitations, weights, EBS, specific legislation that made it difficult for them to compete with others. And on the other hand, in many sectors, European public policies that were severely lacking, because the energy strategy was not only a matter of price or appropriateness, but it led to a point in time when Europe had to radically reconsider its overall energy policy. Despite these two critical elements, self-constraints on our athletes and the general framework that was not particularly supportive, we are still exporting a lot. The manufacturing sector in Italy and in my region in particular are still doing pretty well. What the manufacturing system in Emilia-Romagna and in Italia could do all over the world is outstanding. The results are actually inconceivable if we think about the constraints and limitations. So we are now faced with a reawakening. We have had many crises, the pandemics, the explosion of energy costs, and then the war, and now the the tariffs is not just a matter of the percentage applied to this or that item or product. It's the uncertainty that is marking the current situation in our countries. And I think that apart from trade negotiations, etc., what's coming from the US is the lack of responsibility in opening such a major divide between the US and the EU. When Europe has taken on board major issues, the role played by the European Union in terms of the Russia-Ukraine war was very different and much higher than the one supported by the US in defense of the principle of freedom, of self-determination. So the United States have reacted in a way, but the European Union has really paid a very substantial price. And checking how much steel is contained in machines that are imported and exported is something that undermines the deep cooperation that has existed forever, and also because there are deep bonds between our countries, because many US citizens have European origins. How many Italians living there, or Americans of Italian descent. So we really have to ask the EU to do something more. And something more consists in non-paper on chemical products, or acknowledging that the EU high energy consuming industry is already the one with the lowest emissions in its sector. So we cannot accept for our ceramics industry to have to face the unfair competition by the Turkish ceramics producers, not because they can produce at cheaper prices, but because we apply the ETS system to our industries, which do not exist in Turkey. So we are essentially delocalizing our production, and there is no ATS. So we are at the same time causing problems to the environment and removing jobs from Europe. So delocalizing from Europe to Turkey would be an environmental catastrophe, essentially. It would be a disaster, increasing the emission, all types of emissions, actually, also in gas. We import 17 billion gas, 30% of which is for transport. So by transporting back and forth, we increase substantially the amount of gas emissions. If you think 30% of 17 billion, that's how much we burn every year for transports. Italy accounts for 0.7% of worldwide emissions and the EU 0.6%. We want to be much more than 0.7% of the solution. So with Italian engineering, with Italian talent and skills, we want to account for much more than 0.7% in terms of solutions, exporting knowledge, skills, etc. But we want to prove to the world that you can reduce emissions, curb emissions, while fostering industry, because unless the environmental transition preserves the role of the manufacturing sector, nobody will emulate us in the world. So it will be a perfectly pointless exercise. Something else here at Sampa, it is important to point out that Italy can take the leadership when it comes to energy and technology transition, and at the same time we can also be the beacons of social transition. If you think about Carcere in Dozza, jail in Dozza, it's an initiative we have undertaken in Bologna. So we have unique experiences, innovative experiences that reconcile the two main activities held here, like providing health services and training and education. But then at a certain point, this has to meet work, because unless there is a virtuous meeting between health services, training and education services, and employment services, then everything will be to no avail. So we have to ask our companies, our industry, to become even more the protagonists of this transition that takes the most vulnerable by their hand, helps them get up again and learn to walk again, stand on their own 2 feet. So the role of the manufacturing sector in Emilia-Romagna, in Italy, and in Europe has to bear this in mind. So corporate social responsibility is extremely important already, but it can grow even further. So thank you.